At some point, you may need or want to export your Mahara portfolio for use outside of Navitas. It's a simple task to do, and you can do it at any time and as often as you like. Mahara gives you two options of formats that you can export into. I'll go into detail about these a little bit later, but we do suggest that you export both sets of files and store them on a USB or some other external source if you plan on using the files at a later stage. I'll now demonstrate how you can go about exporting your files. So you'll want to go to Portfolio, followed by Export. You can now see your two separate file types. One is called Standalone HTML Website. This gives you the option of exporting your files, and you can then view them in any web browser such as Chrome or Safari or Firefox, as you currently do in Mahara. Leap 2A gives you the option of importing your portfolio into another system. For example, a different Mahara. There are other e-portfolios that you can import these files into. The only difference in the process between exporting HTML and Leap 2A is that for standalone HTML, you have this checkbox here, which says include user feedback. You can uncheck it if you would like to not have that included. If you would, for instance, if you have a glowing report and you'd like to demonstrate that to a future employer or a university, you can check that and it will be included in your export. Today I'm going to give you an example of the Leap 2A files export, as this is the most useful for importing into other systems. Again, we do advise you to export both, depending on what uses in the future you might have for them, you might not know, so it's handy to have two separate formats. So as you can see, I've selected my Leap 2A format. The next step is to decide what you would like to export. You have two options. You can export all of your data, or if there was something very specific you wanted to export, you can also choose 1 or 2 pages to export. Again, you can do this at any time, so you can do multiple exports. You check what you would like, uncheck what you don't want, and then you can export. Today, I'm going to be exporting all of my data, so I will make that selection, and then I will check Export Report. Sorry, that button is Generate Report. As you can see, it then generates a zip file. Today I am using Chrome, the browser Chrome, and you might use a different browser. As far as I know, for Firefox and also Internet Explorer, it will export a zip file much the same as it does in Chrome. This file will be exported to wherever you have selected for your internet downloads to go. For most people, that's your downloads folder, but it might be different. You'll have to check. So I'm going to go to Show in Folder, and as you can see, it has gone to Downloads. The zip file is here. If I right click, I can then go to Extract All, and I can extract those files. And I now have my Leap 2A file, which I can import into another version of Mahara or another e-portfolio. And I also have the files which I have uploaded into my portfolio at my disposal. Again, for the HTML, it's a similar process.